Do you ever wonder why your confidence feels shattered, even when you haven't failed at anything major? It's not always the big mistakes that kill your self-esteem. It's the tiny, invisible habits you repeat every single day. And today, I'll expose everyday habits that slowly destroy your confidence without you even realizing it. Trust me, some of these will hurt to hear, but that's exactly why you need to. Habit number 1, scrolling more than you're living. Let me be blunt. Your phone is stealing your confidence, and you don't even realize it. Think about it. You wake up, grab your phone, and before your feet even touch the ground, you've already scrolled through 30 lives that look better than yours. Perfect bodies, perfect relationships, perfect vacations. Everyone seems happier, richer, and more successful than you. And guess what? Most of it is fake. Heavily filtered photos, staged videos, rented cars, and exaggerated lifestyles designed to make you feel inadequate. But here's the dangerous part. Your brain doesn't know it's fake. When you scroll for hours, you're training your subconscious to compare your reality with someone else's carefully curated highlight reel. You start believing, I'm behind in life. I'm not good enough. Everyone else has it figured out, except me. And slowly your confidence starts to crumble without you noticing. The trap of digital dopamine social media isn't just distracting you, it's rewiring your brain. Every time you scroll and see something shocking, beautiful, or outrageous, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released when you eat chocolate, win money, or fall in love. But here's the catch. The more dopamine hits you get from scrolling, the harder it becomes to enjoy real life. Suddenly, conversations feel boring, nature feels dull, achievements feel small. Why? Because your brain has been conditioned to expect constant stimulation, and reality simply can't compete. Confidence thrives when you're present in your own life, taking action, creating, building, and engaging with the world. But endless scrolling turns you into a passive consumer, someone who watches other people live instead of living yourself. The silent attack on self-worth. Here's the dark truth. Social media companies profit off your insecurity. The algorithm's job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you hooked. And the easiest way to keep you hooked, make you feel like you're not enough. Every perfectly angled selfie, every dream vacation, every motivational billionaire post is carefully designed to trigger comparison and self-doubt. When you feel like you're falling behind, you scroll more, searching for hope, answers, or inspiration. But instead, you spiral deeper into envy and dissatisfaction. The confidence killer no one talks about. Here's something nobody admits. The more time you spend watching other people succeed, the less you believe you can succeed yourself. Think about it. If you spend 3 hours a day watching gym influencers flexing, but you haven't stepped foot in a gym, if you watch entrepreneurs flaunting millions, but you haven't started that side hustle, if you binge lifestyle vlogs where someone your age drives a Ferrari while you're stuck in traffic, your brain starts to whisper, maybe success isn't for me. That's how social media kills confidence, not with one knockout punch, but with 1,000 tiny cuts. How to take back control. I'm not telling you to delete social media completely, but you need to flip the script from passive consumer to active creator. Here's how: set scrolling limits. Stop letting algorithms control your time. Unfollow toxic accounts. If someone's content constantly makes you feel inferior, mute them. Start creating instead of consuming. Post your work, share your thoughts, build something, spend more time offline. Go for walks, meet real people, Engage in hobbies that give you real confidence instead of manufactured dopamine. Because here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come from watching, it comes from doing. Every hour you spend scrolling is an hour you're not building yourself, your skills, your relationships, or your future. The Stoic reminder. The ancient Stoics had a simple rule: focus only on what you can control. You can't control how many followers someone else has. You can't control who went on vacation in Bali or who bought a new Tesla. But you can control your habits, your effort, your discipline, and where your attention goes. And your attention is your most valuable currency. Spend it on your life, not on someone else's highlight reel. Because the day you stop scrolling and start living, your confidence will skyrocket. Habit number 2. Comparing your journey to others. Let me hit you with a hard truth. Comparison is the fastest way to destroy your confidence, and yet we all do it. You look at someone your age who's driving a Tesla, living in a luxury apartment, traveling the world. Meanwhile, you're still trying to figure out how to pay rent next month. And in that moment, a quiet voice inside whispers, "You're behind. You're not good enough. Everyone else has it figured out, except you." That voice. That's the silent killer of self-esteem. The illusion of perfect lives. Here's the problem. We're comparing our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. On social media, nobody posts the nights they cried themselves to sleep, the failures they had to hide, or the debts they're drowning in. They post the car, not the loan. They post the vacation, not the credit card bill. They post the smiles, not the panic attacks. You end up measuring your entire worth based on 5 seconds of someone else's filtered reality. It's like reading one sentence of a book and assuming you know the whole story. You don't. The psychological trap. When you constantly compare yourself to others, your brain locks itself into survival mode. You start to see life as a competition instead of a journey. And here's what happens next. You stop appreciating your own progress. You underestimate your own potential. You make decisions out of fear, not out of alignment with your purpose. Comparison creates pressure without clarity. It convinces you that you're failing, even when you're growing. The Stoic truth. You need to hear Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not waste your time on what others do or fail to do. Focus only on what you do." The Stoics believed comparison is a waste of life because it makes you blind to your own path. You cannot walk your journey while staring at someone else's. Every second you spend envying someone's success is a second you aren't working on your own. The hidden confidence killer. Here's the part nobody talks about. The more time you spend admiring other people's achievements, the less you believe you're capable of achieving anything yourself. You watch that 22-year-old millionaire on TikTok. You see that couple with the perfect relationship. You hear about your friend who just bought their first house, and suddenly your own accomplishments, no matter how small, feel worthless. This is why your confidence feels fragile. You've subconsciously trained your brain to devalue your progress and magnify theirs. Your timeline. Their timeline. Here's the brutal truth. You're not behind. You're just on your own timeline. The people you're comparing yourself to had different starting points, different opportunities, and different struggles you know nothing about. You're judging your chapter 3 against someone else's chapter 20, and then wondering why the story doesn't look the same. Imagine comparing a seed to a fully grown tree and calling the seed a failure. It sounds ridiculous, right? That's exactly what you're doing to yourself. How to break free from comparison. Escaping this trap isn't easy, but it's possible. Shift focus to your progress. Track how far you've come, not how far someone else is. Celebrate the small wins. They build real confidence. Curate your inputs. If following certain people online makes you feel inferior, unfollow them. Protect your peace like it's priceless, because it is. Use comparison strategically. Comparison isn't always bad. Use it as inspiration, not validation. Learn from people who are ahead, but don't let their success define your worth. Stay in your lane. Focus on what you can control, your habits, your mindset, and your effort. That's where real growth and real confidence comes from. The final reminder: confidence doesn't come from being better than everyone else. It comes from being better than who you were yesterday. Stop comparing your life to someone else's carefully staged highlight reel. Start comparing your current self to your past self. Did you grow? Did you learn? Did you improve? That's where the real victories live. Because here's the truth. The moment you stop comparing and start owning your journey, the noise fades. You stop feeling behind. You stop feeling inadequate. And for the first time, you start feeling free. Habit number 3. Keeping toxic people around. Let me be straight with you. The people you surround yourself with are either building you or breaking you. There's no middle ground. Yet most people keep toxic friends, partners, co-workers, or even family members in their lives, all while wondering why their confidence, happiness, and self-worth are collapsing. Why? Because we're afraid of being alone. We tell ourselves, maybe they'll change. I owe them loyalty. It's not that bad. But here's the ugly truth. Keeping toxic people around costs more than your peace. It destroys your identity. How toxic people quietly kill your confidence. Toxic people don't just shout insults. They're subtle. They operate in quiet ways that chip away at your self-esteem little by little. They belittle your dreams. You share an idea, and they laugh at it. Suddenly you start doubting yourself. They make you question your worth. Through sarcasm, comparisons, and backhanded compliments, they plant seeds of insecurity. They manipulate your emotions. One moment they're kind, the next they're cold, keeping you constantly off balance. They drain your energy. Every interaction feels heavy. You leave conversations feeling smaller, not stronger. Over time, these little interactions rewrite your internal story. You stop believing you're capable. You stop believing you deserve better. And worst of all, you start thinking this is normal. The silent killer. Familiarity. The hardest part about letting go of toxic people isn't the conflict, it's the comfort. They've been around for years. They've been there through good and bad. They might even be family. But comfort is dangerous when it chains you to chaos. You get used to being disrespected. You normalize being undervalued. And before you know it, your entire identity shrinks to fit someone else's limits. The controversial truth about loyalty. Let's get real. You don't owe loyalty to anyone who disrespects, manipulates, or undermines you. Not friends, not co-workers, not even family. This might sound cold, but the Stoics believed it deeply. The company you keep will shape who you become. If someone constantly poisons your peace, it doesn't matter what history you share. You are trading your future for your past. Why confidence dies in toxic environments? Confidence thrives in environments where you feel supported, seen, and respected. But toxic people make you doubt your every move. They force you to shrink yourself just to keep the peace. You stop expressing your opinions because you fear judgment. You stop chasing your goals because you don't want to be mocked. You stop taking risks because you're conditioned to believe you'll fail. Little by little, you become a smaller version of yourself, not because you lack potential, but because you absorb their limitations as your own. How to take your power back. Identify the poison. Pay attention to how you feel around certain people. Do you leave the conversation drained or inspired? Your energy tells you the truth long before your mind does. Set boundaries without apology. Stop explaining. Stop over-justifying. A simple "I can't make it" or "I'm focusing on myself right now" is enough. Replace criticism with support. Surround yourself with people who want to see you win. People who celebrate your small victories, not mock them. Choose growth over familiarity. It's better to be lonely in peace than surrounded by chaos. Space creates clarity, and clarity builds confidence. The Stoic reminder, Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But here's the hidden part most people miss. The people around you control the palette. If you stay around negativity long enough, you'll start painting your life with their doubts. Your confidence can't survive in an environment that constantly questions your worth. It's not selfish to walk away, it's self-preservation. Final words. Cutting off toxic people isn't easy. It hurts, but staying in their orbit slowly kills your spirit. And the longer you stay, the deeper the damage goes. Confidence isn't built by reading books or repeating affirmations. It's built by protecting your energy, peace, and self-respect. You don't need to fight toxic people. You don't need to convince them to change. You just need to choose yourself, loudly, unapologetically, and consistently. Because the moment you stop keeping toxic people around, you stop settling for less than you deserve. And that's when your confidence begins to rise. Habit number 4, talking badly about yourself. Let me give it to you straight. Every time you speak badly about yourself, even as a joke, you are training your brain to believe it. Confidence doesn't just disappear overnight. It dies quietly, one careless thought and one negative phrase at a time. You say things like, "I'm so stupid. I'm terrible at this. I could never do that. I'm just unlucky." You think it's harmless, but your subconscious isn't laughing. It's listening. And over time, your mind starts to believe the story you keep telling it. Your words are programming your reality. Here's the truth. Your brain is like software, and your words are the code. When you repeatedly tell yourself you're not good enough, you literally wire your brain to search for evidence that proves you right. If you say, "I'm bad at relationships," your brain notices every rejection and ignores every moment of connection. If you say, "I can't succeed," your brain automatically avoids risks and opportunities. If you call yourself lazy long enough, your actions eventually match your words. This isn't some motivational cliché. It's psychology. Your self-talk becomes your self-image, and your self-image sets the ceiling for your confidence. The silent erosion of self-worth. The danger is, this habit feels harmless at first. You make a little self-deprecating joke here, and "I can't do this" comment there. People laugh. You laugh. But slowly, something changes. You stop taking chances because you believe you'll fail. You stop speaking up because you assume your voice doesn't matter. You stop trying because you've convinced yourself you're not capable. And before you know it, your confidence isn't just low, it's gone. The hidden link between humility and self-sabotage. Let's address something controversial. A lot of people hide low self-esteem behind fake humility. You say, "Oh, I'm not that smart. I'm not attractive. I'm not special." You think downplaying yourself makes you humble. But in reality, you're reinforcing your insecurities. Real humility isn't about tearing yourself down. It's about being grounded in the truth. You can acknowledge your flaws without branding yourself as broken. The Stoic perspective. The Stoics believed that your perception shapes your reality. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you constantly speak negativity, you're training your mind to live in negativity. Your words shape your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your identity. Confidence begins the moment you decide to change the story you tell yourself. Stop insulting yourself, even casually. Most people don't realize how damaging small negative comments are. When you call yourself dumb after making a mistake, your brain doesn't hear sarcasm. It hears a command. It starts logging evidence to support that belief, replaying your failures and magnifying your flaws. It's like repeatedly whispering to yourself, "You're not enough." And over time, you believe it. How to reprogram your self-talk. Catch the pattern. Become aware of when you speak badly about yourself, even jokingly. The first step to changing the habit is noticing it in real time. Reframe the thought. Instead of saying, "I'm terrible at this," try, "I'm still learning this." That small shift replaces shame with growth. Challenge the lie. When your brain says, "I can't do this," ask, "Who decided that? Is that actually true?" Most of the time you'll realize you've been repeating someone else's judgment, not your own truth. Speak to yourself like someone you love. You'd never call your best friend pathetic or stupid when they fail, right? So why do you do it to yourself? Confidence grows when you treat yourself with the same respect you give others. The harsh truth. Here's what nobody tells you. You can't hate yourself into becoming confident. You can't insult yourself into growth. You can't keep reinforcing weakness and expect strength to magically appear. Confidence doesn't start when people believe in you. It starts when you believe in yourself enough to stop tearing yourself down. Final reminder: your voice is the most powerful influence in your life. The way you speak about yourself determines the way you see yourself, and the way you see yourself determines the way you show up in the world. So stop calling yourself stupid. Stop branding yourself as lazy, ugly, unlucky, or broken. Because every time you do, you're programming your mind to play small. You're not broken. You're becoming. And the moment you change the way you speak to yourself, your confidence will finally start catching up to the person you were always meant to be. Habit number 5. Speaking too softly or hesitating. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have, yet many people unknowingly sabotage their confidence by constantly speaking too softly, mumbling, or hesitating when they talk. It might sound like a small thing, but trust me, the way you use your voice shapes how people see you and how you see yourself. Think about it. Your tone, your pace, and the way you carry your words can instantly send a message. Either "I believe in myself" or "I'm unsure and insecure." People don't just listen to what you say. They pay attention to how you say it. If your words sound uncertain, even when your ideas are brilliant, others will unconsciously doubt you, and over time, you start doubting yourself too. The psychology behind it. When you constantly speak softly or hesitate before saying something, your brain begins to associate your own words with uncertainty. You're literally training yourself to feel smaller than you actually are. It creates a feedback loop. You speak quiet, people overlook you. You feel ignored. You become less confident. You speak even softer. Before you know it, you've trapped yourself in a cycle of self-minimization. And here's the hard truth. The world rarely stops for someone who doesn't command attention. Why hesitation kills your confidence? Hesitation doesn't just affect your volume. It also shows up in the way you frame your thoughts. You start sentences with "I think," maybe, "I'm not sure," but you pause too long when asked for your opinion. You let others dominate conversations because you don't want to sound stupid. But here's the reality. People don't remember your exact words. They remember your energy. If you sound unsure, they'll perceive you as unsure, even when you're right. And it's not just about how others see you. Hesitation chips away at your self-trust. Every time you doubt your voice, you reinforce the belief that your thoughts aren't worthy of being heard. A personal example. Back when I started creating content, I used to re-record the same sentence over and over because I hated how I sounded. My voice was soft, shaky, and unsure, not because I didn't know my topic, but because I was terrified of being judged. Then I made one simple change. I started practicing speaking with conviction, even when I wasn't 100% confident. I forced myself to replace and with short pauses. I raised my volume slightly, controlled my breathing, and slowed down my delivery. Within weeks, not only did people take me more seriously, but I also started believing in myself more. Confidence, I realized, isn't about knowing everything. It's about sounding like you believe what you're saying. How to break this habit? If you've been holding yourself back with a soft voice or constant hesitation, here's what you can do. Practice power posing. Yes, it works. Before important conversations, straighten your back, open your chest, and take deep breaths. When your body expands, your voice follows. Project. Don't shout. The goal isn't to yell, it's to speak from your diaphragm, not your throat. Imagine you're talking to someone at the other end of the room. That's the energy you want. Kill the maybe language. Stop watering down your statements with "I guess," "I think," or "I'm not sure." Replace them with strong phrases like "I believe," "I recommend," or "here's what I know." Pause with purpose. Silence can be powerful. Instead of filling every gap with or pause confidently. It makes you sound composed and in control. Record yourself. You'll be shocked at how much you learn when you listen back to your own voice. Notice your tone, speed, and hesitation points, and improve them consciously. Final thought. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about owning your presence and believing that your words deserve to be heard. If you keep speaking softly, hesitating, and hiding your thoughts, the world will pass you by. But the moment you start speaking with clarity and conviction, everything changes. People listen, opportunities open up, and most importantly, you start respecting yourself. Your voice shapes your identity. If you want the world to believe in you, start by believing in your own sound. Habit number 6. Spending time on things that don't align with your goals. Confidence isn't just about how you look, speak, or carry yourself. It's deeply connected to how you spend your time. And one of the fastest ways to quietly destroy your confidence is by wasting energy on things that don't bring you closer to your goals. Here's the brutal truth. Every yes to distractions is a no to your future self. Whether it's binge-watching meaningless shows, endlessly scrolling on social media, hanging out with people who drain you, or saying yes to commitments you don't care about, all of these small decisions slowly erode your self-belief. Why? Because deep down, you know you're betraying yourself. Why this habit destroys your confidence. Confidence isn't built by positive affirmations or fake hype. It's built through evidence. Every time you choose actions that align with your values and goals, you send a powerful message to your brain. I can trust myself. I keep my promises. But when you constantly give your time and energy to things that don't matter, you reinforce the opposite belief. I can't even stick to what's important to me. Over time, this creates a deep inner conflict. You start feeling like a fraud, not because the world is against you, but because you're acting against yourself. That's where the spiral begins. You waste time, you feel guilty, you lose self-trust, you lose confidence, you waste more time to escape the guilt. It's a vicious loop that keeps millions of people stuck. The invisible cost of misaligned actions. Most people think wasting time only costs them hours, but in reality, it costs them identity. When your daily actions don't match who you want to become, you subconsciously start believing you're not capable of becoming that person. For example, you want to be fit, but keep skipping workout. You stop believing you can be disciplined. You want financial freedom, but spend hours scrolling TikTok instead of learning a skill. You stop trusting your ability to succeed. You want deep relationships, but keep surrounding yourself with negative, aimless people. You start thinking you're destined for mediocrity. And the more your actions and intentions drift apart, the weaker your self-image becomes. A personal example I used to tell myself I wanted to build something meaningful, a channel, a brand, a life I could be proud of. But at the same time, I'd spend hours watching random videos, playing games and scrolling aimlessly. The truth? I wasn't lazy. I was unfocused. Every wasted hour was a reminder that I wasn't living up to my potential, and that guilt silently ate away at my confidence. Everything changed when I started cutting away what didn't serve my goals. I began asking myself a simple question before committing to anything. Does this get me closer to the life I want? If the answer was no, I learned to walk away without guilt. Within weeks, my energy shifted, my self-respect grew, and ironically, my confidence skyrocketed. Not because I achieved my goals overnight, but because I finally started acting like someone who believed in their future. How to break this habit? Here's how you can stop giving your time to the wrong things and rebuild your self-trust. 1. Get crystal clear on your top 3 priorities. If you don't know what matters most, you'll keep saying yes to everything. Define your non-negotiables: career, health, relationships, personal growth, etc. 2. Audit your time honestly. For 1 week, track where every hour goes. You'll be shocked at how much time disappears into scrolling, gossiping, or overthinking. 3. Learn to say no without guilt. Saying yes to everyone is saying no to yourself. Your confidence grows when you protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. 4. Replace time wasters. Don't just remove them. Your brain hates empty space. If you cut out Netflix, replace it with reading, journaling, working out, or a hobby you actually care about. 5. Celebrate micro wins. Each time you choose alignment over distraction, pause and acknowledge it. Confidence is built brick by brick. Every good decision stacks up. Final thought: confidence isn't about standing in the mirror shouting, "I'm amazing." It's about proving it to yourself through action. The more your daily choices reflect the person you want to become, the stronger your self-belief gets. But if you keep spending time on things that don't align with your goals, You're silently teaching your brain that your dreams don't matter. The good news, you can flip the script today. Start small, act with intention, and watch how quickly your confidence grows when your life and your values finally match. Here's the thing about confidence. It's not something you wake up with. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. Every single day your actions are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. When you protect your time, your confidence grows. When you speak with conviction, your confidence grows. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence explodes. But when you let distractions, toxic people, hesitation and self-doubt take control, you're silently teaching yourself that you don't trust your own potential. The good news, you don't need to change everything overnight. Start small. Change one habit today. Just one. Watch what happens when you start aligning your actions with the person you know you can be. Because confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about doing the hard things today, so your future self can look back and say, I didn't just hope for a better life. I built it. Now the choice is yours. You can keep living on autopilot, or you can take control, one habit at a time, because once you start showing up for yourself, everything changes. Your energy, your relationships, your opportunities, and your life.